Okay. Just Adrian and that.
All right.
Shut up. Oh, it's live now.
Okay.
He's so goofy, call me daddy. Oh yeah, you can hear me.
Yep. Okay.
Hey guys,
All right.
welcome back.
Oh, I forgot what we're supposed to do back there. This is.
It's a lot. I'm tired. Navigation.
Wait a second. I don't hear us.
Because you ain't going to new live yet.
All right. We just got to talk about it. Good.
Hey guys,
Hey.
welcome to Bossy. We love you. Thank you for being patient.
We're trying out new things today. Y'all can see me.
Okay, it's a new room too. That's why all this shit not working.
It's retrograde, y'all. Gonna give me a second as I try to.
Yeah, it's a pilot.
It's a pilot run.
It's a pilot run.
It's a pilot. We trying some new things out, new ways to get to y'all. So let's go back to what we were about to talk about. I want to know if you tried dating apps lately, and
Well, no, he was talking about the story.
oh no, you tell me what happened with the dating app. The app.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the dating app, like the two that normally come up in the news, pretty much is Plenty of Fish and Grindr had a little issue the other day. Grindr is for the LGBTQIA community, and they had an issue where a young boy who I believe he was at the age of 18, was conversing with a guy that was 20 something and invited him over for a casual thing. And upon, inviting him over, the guy who was 24 ended up bringing a friend that was like 40 something. And, the young boy and the guy, they were, getting it off inside the home. And the other guy must have left the door open. And he came in, and next thing you know, he joined in. But the young guy didn't want him to join. It was kind of like a surprise kind of rape situation. And the guy ended up getting arrested. I think both of them ended up getting arrested, even though the other guy was consensual, but the way he left the door open for the other guy is part of that too. So it's very,
He deserves everything that happens.
exactly. So I mean, it's
Because
very
I didn't invite
unfortunate.
that. He didn't invite that older man.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very unfortunate that happens to a young man. But you guys have to be very careful when you're dating on these apps because you never know who you get on it. You never know what.
Do you know people who've had like success on dating apps?
Oh, I know quite a few.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I think I have
So
more
many.
success
You know
stories.
something? You know more success stories. You
Yeah,
think
I have more success stories than bad stories.
I know quite a few girls who actually met their husbands on dating apps. They're white.
Me too. The friends that I have that have met someone, and I mean like a good match, like a good match, like you're like, oh wow, they are all right. Do you think that is that? I think that means something.
It does play a role.
I think there's black people that do have those matches, but I think from people outside of the community, when they're on the dating app, I think more likely they're dating with a purpose.
What do you mean outside of
Our community, yes.
Okay,
I think we're dating with a purpose. I think
Because plenty of fish stands for plenty of, POF stands for plenty of felons, plenty of
Does
fakes,
it?
plenty of fakes, plenty of felons, plenty of F-boys. I've been on Plenty of Fish. It was ridiculous. I have had some people reach out to me, before when I was single, they would ask me, have you tried Facebook dating? And I was like, hell no, why would I then let the people who be in my inbox have access to me through Facebook dating when they be weird in my inbox?
So, I don't know who was I was talking to said they tried Facebook dating, and apparently the messages that people that send you are outside of your friends. So they don't send you people.
No.
That might be in your friend. Oh, it does? Oh, okay, so
I've done Facebook. I met a wonderful woman on Facebook dating.
okay, so you think is that a different kind of app than the rest of the dating apps?
Yeah, no, it's the same. It's the same. What it does is it doesn't directly link you to your friends.
Mhm.
You have to do the investigation. Like it'll say, oh, this person you match with is also 8 friends with your people.
Oh,
But
okay.
you look at, like I used to look at the profile pictures, and then I'll go and I'll be like, hold on, I know that profile picture. You see what I'm saying? And then I'll go and I'll look. I'll go on their name, and then I'll say, oh, okay, that's how I find your profile. Because they separate your profile away from your actual page. But if you do the detective work, you know their name, you put the name in the first Facebook search, and then you see your similar friends, and it shows you how many similar friends you have, then you know that's the person you're talking to.
Oh, that sounds like a bar exam.
No, but
I
it
just think it's the
separates.
quality of people different, like you find in that than in other dating apps, or is it just like they're all pretty much the same?
I think,
They're all the same.
I think
They're all the same.
yeah, they're all the
And
same. I think the only difference is this one allows you to gauge range wise. Like you can say, hey, from 0 miles to whatever.
So as you could do local.
Yeah, you could do
more
local, or
okay.
you like, man, look, I want a variety. I don't care going all the way up to Tallahassee Temple. You know what I'm saying? And so normally you'll meet people, and I know that some of the great connections that people have is with people in small towns that you normally don't meet.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
So someone into a town you may never go to.
Yes,
and you never.
exactly.
You're never
So you
going to
find,
Bossy House.
yeah, you'll
Right,
find a
right,
gem
right.
over there. And their dating pool is so small, so they're like more open, more joyous, more friendly.
Excited.
Yeah,
Because they're
To
not
be the
getting
city slicker.
yeah, exactly.
Because they not meeting you like the
Yeah,
first new person
exactly.
they meet, and they not getting tons
Exactly.
of. Okay, I can see how that could be
Yeah.
a little bit different. I can see how.
But you still get it's a lot of.
F-boys and a
Oh,
lot of
I feel
no,
like
no,
is
no,
it just
no, don't do
that it's the same people? Is it just that people are people wherever, or
Yeah.
even is it?
But you filter, because I've seen something, man, I'm telling you, I was going next. You had women on there. This is something I don't get with women. Maybe you guys can tell me what the reason behind that is. But you guys have women that make dating profiles and they put pictures up with it next to a dude. Like, we don't want to see that. We don't want to ask.
But I will say this: I have gotten inboxes from men in the picture with they profile picture got their girlfriend in it,
Yeah,
and I be like,
it's like
let me talk to her.
No,
Let me
no,
talk to her.
no. See, I get that,
Yeah.
right? But it might be some.
You get that.
No. I'm saying I get what
that's
she's saying. Like
I
some
think
guys
that's
are
what
old like
You're
that.
saying it's a dating
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but I
You know what I'm
do
saying
think
is
it's
like, okay, this is what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
It's an issue if he's that bold. But
Yeah.
sometimes men and women take pictures and it don't be the boyfriend. It's
Yeah.
just another. So you're in your head like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? Is that an ex? It might be a picture of an ex. It's the only picture they probably have. I've had some people that say that's an ex. That's the only
And
picture.
I thought I looked good in them.
Yeah,
pictures, so I put it up
exactly.
there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's so many variations to it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
But that's the thing. There's so if a woman, and I don't trust anybody, but if a woman is on a dating app and she has a picture of her and it's another dude in the picture,
Yeah.
you ain't too much gotta worry. But if it's a man and he has another picture with a woman in the picture,
Mhm.
then I would assume that they have something going on.
Mhm.
Because men don't really do well with platonic female friends.
Mhm.
Women can have platonic female friends and or someone that they used to date and be nothing else
I
after.
still just think it's weird. Like
Yeah.
if you're on a dating app, obviously
Yeah.
you got phones.
Exactly.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Like that's not to me. That's
Yeah,
not.
that's-
They didn't look
Yeah,
good.
that's
Man,
being
listen,
lazy.
That's
Yeah.
a really weird.
Yeah,
But then that helps you.
That's
Mhm.
like
That helps you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't argue about it. I filter it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This
It
is
helps me
like,
filter.
hey, I want to meet someone. Look at me in the picture with this person.
Exactly.
Even
That
if,
dude might make
but my
But-
thing is, even in a guy, I wouldn't. And I'm just thinking, this is me. If this is a profile picture or a dating app, I'm gonna take a picture of me and Adrian,
Yeah.
and we take
I don't
pictures
put nobody-
together.
Well,
every
I don't
5
know.
seconds.
I don't know
But-
because women do that to find out who they
No, I
like.
think that's weird.
No,
I know it's
first
weird,
of all,
but
I
it's
was
also
never
a
do that.
tactic. It's a tactic women do. Because they'll sit back and want to see who you think that they are. And if they aren't that person, then they'll be like,
I don't get it because why would
oh,
I?
you like my homegirl. So you setting the guy up to be like, who's your homegirl?
That's how catfish starts. Okay?
Because that's weird to me because
That's
I'm
weird.
already letting I can't I feel like if I'm on the app and I want to put a picture up, I'm trying to meet someone who's interested in me. I'm not putting my cat in the picture with
I'm not putting any other woman.
I can't. I don't understand why you would do that. I'm not gonna be in a group picture because I've heard a guy say that before. Like, I hate when women post group pictures of their dating profile, and I was confused.
Yeah.
And then the woman who was talking to, she was like, "Yeah, I know." She was like, "Something to do," and I gotta wait a while to ask her, "Wait, which one are you in there?" And I'm like, "So wait." People make that there. I'm thinking they mean like a social media profile that might be,
Yeah,
picture in the background. Then that's one thing. But she's like, no, it's a dating
whole frat
thing. And I'm like, so you gotta talk to this person having no idea? I'm not even stopping at that. And I think it's weird to present yourself as I like one of these people.
Yeah, like
Or I might just be a picture of some
I do
people I
not
saw.
want to. I do not want to play. Where's Jermaine?
Exactly.
Right! Like, what is that?
Pick me out. Pick me out.
Because first
I
of
might
all,
pick
Who do you think I am?
You might pick their friend and be like, damn, boy, she hot.
Yeah.
That's going to
weird
affect. That's going to
to
affect.
me. Yeah, I don't think I would even start a conversation with that. I would think it's weird, and I'd be like,
It's crazy you guys say that because one of the other red flags that I have with women, I don't understand why women do this. They be on dating apps and they'll put their children's picture instead of them. And then,
also weird to me.
and then they'll put and then their child has their middle fingers up, or if they have their middle finger up in a profile, I'm like,
You know what? I think I need to start a business where people come to me to help me help them create their dating profile.
So I had a
yeah,
friend.
we did that.
I had a friend who didn't do any of that. However, she had a dating profile that was strictly everything she don't want. And once I looked at it, I was like, I wouldn't date you no matter what you look like if your whole profile was don't talk to me, if you got this. If you don't have this, I don't want to talk to you. I don't like this, I don't like this. Because all I know at the end of this is what you don't like and what you do. And I thought that was bizarre. But after that, I saw men do that too. And I'm like, why do people think, I often think people miss the social part, even if it's a social media thing. Because if you met somebody right now, you would be like, hey, how you doing? I don't like nobody with kids. I don't like nobody who smoke. Like, they would be like, I don't even know if I like you. Why are you telling me all this? These are things I think that come out in conversation. When you try to give a little bit of yourself, is that what you want to, like, is that what you want to put out? I don't get that. Like, to me, that's very strange.
It is very weird.
I would never do that. And I know there are companies that help people craft their, their dating profiles.
We used to do that. Me and a couple of other gentlemen that was on Clubhouse and Adrian. We were all on, we talked about their profile pictures. And it was, I had a lot of women inbox me because they were like, yo, you really know how to tighten up people's profiles because
I'm charging, bro. I'm charging.
But isn't it common? I mean,
it's not common sense.
But don't you? If it's okay, I feel like social media is one thing you can put out whatever, like whoever's offering you to. You can be as authentic or inauthentic as you decide to be, the good and the bad. But if it is a dating, isn't it like I feel like those things you're like perpetually open to a blind date, right? Because anyone who comes to your page, this is basically a mini blind date, right? This is the first thing I'm seeing. So the picture is gonna matter because that's the first thing you're seeing. And what you say in there is the stuff that you tell about people to have them interested in you when you decide this is somebody I want to talk to. But then I hear people talk about the things that they show and say in there, and I'd be like, how do you people date? See, I show up on dates and say things like this? Like, who clicks on this profile? It's like, this is someone I want to talk to. The lady say that don't talk to me if you don't got A through Z. And the guy that say, you ain't got this and you ain't this, don't even holler at me if you ain't for real. I'm like, oh, surely ain't nobody even say all that. Relax.
The crazy part about
that is so weird.
It is. So the crazy part about it is we're all in the same age range, right? And we grew up around Jenny Jones, and I used to love Jenny Jones Makeover, right?
Yes.
And but
Oh,
the
I
thing
used to
about it,
love that.
Yeah.
show.
and the thing is,
She do a makeover
Yeah. so the thing about it was, you had people that's like, okay, they're like, we're going on a date, dress how you dress, it's your wardrobe before we make you over. And think that was good.
Yeah.
Some people are naturally just homely. They don't know no better.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But I feel like they watch that show when we did. So they should know this is still how you show up. Like,
See, that's some people it's in them, and some
they
people
never
they just don't
never
never have no
think
style.
to be like,
Like Hitch, right? Hitch, that was a perfect movie about how to upgrade.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When I did matchmaking, I really wanted to
It was
because people would go on dates and like there's a whole handbook of what you should how you should conduct yourself on the date. But the problem was that they went on the date and talked about all their past issues that they had and why they were single and what is not out.
On the first date?
Yeah, on the first date, on the first date. It was not about fun. It was not about having a good time. It was not about laughs. It was So my boyfriend Pete, my previous boyfriend, he moved away and we were supposed to get married and I'm like, so what did she talk about on the date? All she talked about was her cat.
Magic cat.
And how her boyfriend left her and how she has now transitioned to Virginia and I'm not really gonna try it. And I was like, oh, it was the worst experience for me. And I wasn't even
yeah. Some people are just socially popular.
I see that. I get that. And so this makes me think of an article I read today. So it was a BuzzFeed article. I guess they had asked, they were talking about age difference in age. I don't know if you guys saw the article going through today, and they were like, is it okay for a 19-year-old to date a 30-year-old? And the differences in opinions was like huge. Now, I saw a lot of people say an 11-year age difference isn't that much if you're like 30.
Exactly. It's seasoned.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're 30,
if you're developed here,
Yeah.
your frontal lobe is fully developed.
I saw a bunch of them, like in the first, but I would say this, like 60-70% of comments were like, this is the percentage of people that said that they didn't see a problem with it. I'm going to say at least 75% of that were men. The women who had said, I did this at an early age, and it was the worst mistake I ever made. They all said the same thing of this person probably was around me and knew me since 16, 17, or 18. Maybe, and realized as they got older, I was groomed. And then I went into a very controlled relationship with someone who wanted to mold me into.
That's the key right there.
Yes, mold me into, and they know to go to someone at that age. And I think about at 30, what did I have in common with a 19-year-old? Just like, what could I, unless I'm trying to make you what I want you to be, you just fresh out of high school. These are people with full-time jobs, out of college, been grown up for years. There is a big disconnect there. So
Especially
so I'm seeing right. So I saw, here's where I got interested. So I'm looking at the comments of people reading the article, and I saw the guy on there who said a whole thing about you shouldn't even have comment. You're not going to comment with nobody that age. He went on this whole thing, which I agree with. However, what I found interesting is because this person is someone on my Facebook is also someone who said who's on a and said that, these girls are grown, they know what they're doing. Their parents know what they're doing. Everybody fast, this is this person's fault, all these other people's fault. And then I am confused because I brought back to the place where it comes to a.
Hold on, before you get to that, I just want to recap. So, let me get this right. He defends R. Kelly for underage, but said it's wrong.
But said, what in the world would I have in common between a 19-year-old and a 30-year-old? You know exactly what somebody like that wants. He's obviously up to no good. That was what he said. But says, and said, she's obviously up to no good. Nobody 30 has anything in common with a 19-year-old to have a serious relationship. Right. Because I feel like, again, in a lot of those situations, it's how I feel about how some people feel about Bill Cosby and mix him up with Dr. Huxtable. That's not your dad. Like they have a hero worship with somebody. And I don't want to give this person up. So if it's this person, I will find reasons because I always be like, every man bed gets raped at the home. Then it'd be like, no, but I know. And if somebody said he did it, well, it probably was this or this girl probably did that. But I'm against it, but except if it's somebody I know or have a connection with or feel something about. And I also feel like I wonder most of the pictures, like just pictures in the article, where the comments also were white women saying this is happening. And I'm wondering if it's because Black young girls and teenagers are always seen as mature, more developed, sexually faster, more mature. So it is automatic to assume she fast, which I still think is the stupidest thing ever because ain't no girl fast enough to catch no man who don't want to be caught.
But in actuality, Black children do grow up faster than any other race of children. We have to.
We do, but a lot of that is because of adults who do things like, here's something I never allowed in my house. Now, not really my family, but my in-laws who do the things like, we are very free house. Kids, whatever. Some of my kids are good. And it's, other adults may come over and, have a kid and it's like, she didn't put on some pants, it's men in the house, she fell. Well, no, like you are placing a sexuality on a 4-year-old and putting the burden on the kid to regulate what their people are. First of all, if you got questions about somebody in here with my 4-year-old, we need to talk about that. Not this kid who throws her pants over her pull-up. Yeah. But here's the thing, I understand where it comes from. As back in the day, a lot of those women had to protect their children from the slave master, right? We got to protect our kids from being seen the slightest bit of maturity mean that's about to take them back. I get that's where it comes from. But the pressure it puts on young children and girls when they're young is the burden of protecting myself at all times from a place where I should feel at home. You know what I mean? And the responsibility is on the mother and the child, not the men that are there. It is very much that we teach people. We are always. Here's the thing: when that family was happening with that young girl, yes, I saw so many things, so many close-up. Women have to be careful, and you have to watch your surroundings. So you have to always be telling women to be more careful. And my thing is, we spend so much time telling women to be more careful instead of
self-rejection.
Not be this is not where that's not where the work needs to go. The work needs to go the other way. Because when you come home, you're not worried about if the janitor is about to break anything. You understand what I'm saying? That burden is on you because it should be in a given. I should be able to come home. The janitors and work people got that piece of everybody house.
Yeah, and the thing is, I got blocked off of Facebook when I couldn't really chime in on that. I wanted to, but I wanted to put the focus on women do need to be careful in situations where you're living alone. You gotta know who these people are that's working around your property.
But that's impossible because we don't know. It's not like people reach out, hey, there's a new person.
Yeah.
And it's working.
I did
It's just like everybody else.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I will say that women do a great job investigating work when it comes to meeting a potential guy. What I'm saying is, if you're a single, like if I'm with her, if I'm with mine, that's my job to find out what's going around the situation. Looking at, because let me tell you something. All right, perfect example. When I was with my ex, there was a property manager that was giving her a hard time. I didn't live with her at that time. And when I saw how he came into the house and when she was pointing out certain things that needed to be fixed, and the tone, and I checked him. But imagine I'm not there to check him. And then I had to put in complaints about him. I watched him. I also watched the maintenance guys. But they had some old Jamaican men that were sitting there watching every time we would come out, we would watch. And I was more at her house more than I was at mine for the protection of her. But not every woman has that protection. You see what I'm
Yes,
saying?
but what I'm saying, I understand exactly what you're saying, but the thing is, we put the energy into telling women to protect themselves from men instead of holding men to be better. Like, what I didn't want is I saw a lot of men posting, and I know they think
Yeah.
that they're helping, like, y'all need to be more careful. No, work on the guys that's doing it.
Yes.
Instead of having us be hyper vigilant of, like, you want women to walk around terrified. However, also know when somebody's just being friendly. Also know when somebody's just trying to be respectful. But also, if this happens, you should have been more careful. That's a lot. Instead of putting that energy on all the things that we need to do to not get killed or raped, how about we check the kills and rapes?
That is
Instead of putting the
this
burden
is the
on
same.
protection. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is the same exact situation when we tell Black people that they should
Right.
they should comply.
Yes,
So
that's my thing.
what we're telling
Don't talk back. If you're respectful to the cops, and then this will happen to you.
Respect
That doesn't stop
authority.
nothing. Which we know it stops nothing.
we tell our kids, we give our kids a talk.
Mm-hmm.
We tell our boys that they need to be respectful. We tell our kids to watch where they are. That they're not like their white friends and their Hispanic friends who might be let off the hook. And then they literally do nothing. And they are precautious and they are concerned with what's happening around them, and they still get killed.
And
So we're not
now
placing the blame on the police.
Yeah.
Placing the blame on the Black person for being
like,
Black.
it is
I
also, it's just like, I get that it's harder to hold. I think people find it easier to say, be careful because I can't stop him.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is worry about stopping him because it's too much of, it's like you live in fear, kids live in fear, women live in fear. Be super vigilant because people are out there, and this is the thing we want to talk about. Now, worry about what's over there, out there, instead of having, because you can be very careful.
Yeah. So what's the
And
solution?
it still happens. The
Yeah.
solution doesn't involve, it involves of course it involves, better background checks, better, how stuff goes.
No, I'm saying,
You know what I'm saying?
what do you
Those are
want
the
us
solutions.
as
I just
guys?
what I
to
don't
do?
want
Check
is
your friends.
check your friends, because everybody know that guy that go too far. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that guy.
I get you.
But I get a lot of, and I get that in their way, they're feeling sorry for the situation. But what comes out, what they don't understand, what we hear is,
You should have done more to
you
protect
can
yourself.
do more to protect yourself. And we like, how about somebody else talk to those
Yeah.
people rather than always be
So what
on
you're
us?
telling me is I have to get security cameras, I have to get a alarm system, I have to keep mates, I have to do way
And
more
you can do all of that
and still get killed.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Honestly, do you feel that we have any platforms off the top of your mind that holds men accountable? Men holding other men accountable.
I would say right now, I don't think it's a platform, I think it's each other. Because I think men are a lot different with women in respecting, like, I think most men, maybe half the population men is gonna go to an authority kind of thing or a platform to look for, in ways that we behave. Women do that more to fall in line to stuff. Men listen to their friends, to their uncles, to their cousins, to their brothers, to the people in their family. That's where that needs to come from. Not some woman on the TV, not some man on the microphone, because that's not who they relate to. But there's too many men I know who be like, no, they'd be like, yeah, I know how he do so. But then check him.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it starts. That's where the accountability is.
Because
Between
men
the
are going
men in
to,
themselves and the
I
community.
get that, but it's also a trickle down system. If there's men that are watching, because we have Manifestations coming, right? Manifestations is a platform designed for that. Tablers, which your significant other, has created, is a wonderful platform that's coming, that's going to design to hold issues like Black women and Black men accountable, or just men and women accountable, period. But we need more of these platforms because it's a trickle down effect, right? So when you have these platforms, and men are absorbing all this information to holding each other accountable, then your friend who's watching can say, hey, watch this. Or they take the information and be like, nah, dude.
Or know how, I think a lot of times men don't know how to approach the subject.
They take what they want from the certain platform. Like, for example, Kevin Samuels has a very good platform when it comes to holding men and women accountable.
In a certain
criteria
and area.
Yes, when it comes to relationships and when it comes to image and when it comes to building and dealing with the foundation of relationships.
Exactly. But that's so tunnel vision.
But this is the thing.
Yeah.
What I'm really focusing on is how men go on his platform, they take the things that he is saying, and instead of applying them to their life to become better, they now go out and ridicule, demean, and talk negatively about women. Oh, she's disgusting, she's obese, she's nothing, she can't get me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, sir, you couldn't get her.
Yeah.
So they manipulate.
That's the thing, that people will find a platform and pick the things they want.
No, but
yes, sometimes it works, but
Yeah.
sometimes it is.
But okay, Kevin Samuels opened the door for the voices of some of the issues men are, but it's only geared to a certain. The platform that we have in mind, it is accountability on all levels.
But
I don't
we
think
need
you
to really focus. This is the thing. I don't think that there aren't platforms that hold women accountable. I think that there is a communal space for women to hold other women accountable. There aren't really men in those spaces. So if you're looking for a co-ed space, absolutely create a co-ed space. But that's not where the necessary work needs to be done,
because the conversation
needs to be done for the
so
men.
just the way,
Yeah,
when
that's
I
what I'm
first
saying.
started doing, when I
Yes.
first started
But
doing
not co-ed. No.
only because there are conversations for that. When I first started doing the guys workshops, and everybody said, "Oh, how come you don't invite the men? How you do something?" I'm like, one, the conversation changes when there are both sexes.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we're doing a certain kind of healing, it's gonna be not that I don't think men need it too, but they need it in their own space.
Exactly.
Then you could come
Yes,
together
exactly.
and have those conversations.
I totally agree.
But the fact that there are numerous, sister circles and groups and all of this stuff, so you have women that are coming together in this kind of communal healing where you can do that. But if we go out and there isn't anything that's happened on the other side, nothing really changes in between each other.
Yeah.
So because I know, even after that, after the last, people like, so why don't you do just all men? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know if they're going to come.
Yeah.
Like I just had that conversation.
And
Calvin asked me.
men don't want to come.
They don't want to come.
Men
They
don't want to come.
say that.
Women there.
No. Yeah, there's women there, right?
No. We need the men to come by
No.
themselves
Yes.
and do the work.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. Because I was on Clubhouse one day and created a room. It did have a woman. The woman, I met her off of Clubhouse, and she was like, remember Indy Crawford that was on, and she had a book released, and I bought it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember when we talked about how we created a Clubhouse, and then I was telling you about the guy whose wife committed suicide and he had to take care of his children?
Yeah.
And it's like, kind of thinking behind the scenes, like, I never had the chance to open up like that.
Yeah.
And he was bold enough to open up to a room that had women in it. But some men want the closure of just men so they can open up and
because they don't want to fit. It's not about the vulnerability. It's about men can be vulnerable with other men. I think that they push sometimes. I think that they push the limits of what they will and won't say when it comes to women dating them, because they don't want to feel like they're offending women. It feels like women always need some type of protective bubble. So when men are very brash, what they call it locker room talk, they don't want any women around because they're being explicitly who they are and saying exactly what they feel, because they know there's not going to be anyone to check them because it's all men here.
I think it's both. I think it is that you want the place where you can be honest, but I still do think men do have an issue even being vulnerable in front of other men because they weren't allowed. A lot of people, especially our age, were never allowed the space.
Exactly.
So when they get to our age, it's like, come on, let it out, and they're like,
I've been holding it for 30 years.
Yes, or maybe they may watch something, but they may not give to,
Yeah.
may not like give to, and I understand that that's hard.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I don't think this is ready to be these kind of workshops whole way.
Yeah.
Because these women are so used to, when women get in a space, whether it is structured or not,
Mhm.
we about to evoke something.
Yeah.
Somebody about to have a vulnerable
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Somebody's about to, it's like that's going to happen after a while.
Because
And-
we've gotten so used to it, especially after like a woman goes through a breakup, they go find their friend,
Yeah.
and they emote and they say everything and they talk about how the relationship broke down.
Exactly.
And that is been a safe space for women. There's always someone who's
You,
willing
they,
to listen.
Yeah.
women are able to heal from things in the space of their friends.
Yeah.
Where I feel like men don't give their friends that space. It's
Yeah.
like, we about to take you to the strip club, and
Yeah.
now you're gonna be all right.
And-
Like, and then now that's it. We ain't about,
Exactly.
you ain't about to be crying about it. You ain't about to be, we ain't about to talk through your feelings on it. So that gets stuck down.
And
And
that's
then they go into the new relationship
Exactly.
when they never had that space.
exactly.
If they had that space, now I just don't think women have to need to be in the room
Yeah.
because that's going to make it harder.
And that's why I try to be, a lot of times when you're transparent, because I get a lot of guys on my Facebook page that come to my inbox asking a lot of questions. Married men, single men, they ask me a lot of questions because they feel very vulnerable with me because I'm very transparent. Like, I told you guys about my journey about Relationship Academy. I've been in Relationship Academy for over 3 months now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's been helping me a lot with hearing things from other people, just learning. He has great workshops. We have homework, and this is the thing.
This relationship,
David Bird's Academy, and he's also on Clubhouse, but I didn't meet him through Clubhouse. I met him through a friend of mine, and she's a woman, right? So women always find these
Yes.
spaces.
Listen,
right?
let me tell you, but what a woman gonna do is she gonna find a
Yeah, she
space.
is gonna find.
to
She's
talk
gonna find
something- to
space.
talk
She's gonna
something
find
out.
some food.
Yeah.
She's gonna find
Yes,
everything
we
that she's
gonna
gonna
find a
find.
space where we can
So
emote.
here's the thing: the woman that invited me in, she said, "Try it." I ended up getting in, and I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm in the academy." She said, "You know what, man? You the only guy, and you are not. We don't have a thing going. But there's guys that I was interested in, and I invited them to the academy class. When they found out it was $70 to enter a month, they gave her every excuse why they couldn't. And I'm in my head like, that's an issue with men because we don't invest. We're not taught to
they're definitely not paying for that. They're not.
in self-improvement, but we're investing things to damage our liver or investing
They'll spend $100 and some at a club on a bar.
or cars, things that's liability. We'll invest in liability.
But I think men are taught to buy things that are tangible, things I can see. Like things are tangible, things I can see, things I can touch, that this is the value I own here. Women in the last, I want to say decade or so have really been taught to put money into ourselves. And I think there's good and bad of that because I think two things. I think people get addicted to doing that, but you always want to be in the process. You need that someone to lead you. So I feel that you're never actually on your own journey. You're just a junkie for another thing. And also it leaves you wide open to a lot of I feel like you got a lot of people that just about to say bullshit. Right?
Yeah, that too.
But the space, I'm telling you, that's
No,
because
that's-
sometimes I look at some things,
Yeah.
and people be like, oh, I'm taking this course,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, you pay for that?
Yeah.
You
Women can't
But
get
we
addicted to
will,
that.
we will go
It's
hard to, that's it, people get like, oh, I'm gonna make myself better. Because but here's the thing, women are constantly being told to make themselves better,
Yeah.
in a way. If it's you paying money to go to the gym, you paying money for a hair salon, we are constantly told that upkeep. But in the last 10 years, we've been told, oh, besides your outside upkeep, you also need to be paying for your in upkeep. So we are constantly under pressure to invest money, to be better, to do more. Some of it is good and necessary, some of it is like,
Society has.
when do you get to just,
society has brainwashed. I literally.
to never get, you were never at the place where we're done.
We're never gonna be, what is it? The self-actualization.
Yeah, you never get there. We're always going through the process. And I saw, I don't know what, it was a weird show that was I want to say AMC. And I don't even know if it had more than one season. I felt like I watched it by accident because I was like, is this show called Kevin is an Asshole? And I was like, what is this? So here's the thing. It seemed first like it was a sitcom and then a satire, but then I realized it was deeper. And what it was talking about is if you watch TV shows, and we always talk about how the media influences people. And we talked a little bit about how men are coddled to seem that they are, to make them like they can't be any better. So there's a trope of sitcom husbands. You know, they're always incompetent, they always can't take any kids along, they're always unromantic, they always forget what you call it. And we put a laugh track over it to make it funny, right? This is funny that he messes up everything. It's funny that he can't care. It's funny, like we make that a trope.
Yeah.
But the way they shot the show was really scenes where these typical things that would happen in a Family Guy and everybody was raving, and then it would be a single camera with her, and she's talking to the camera, and you really think about that. This is obviously not funny. Like this isn't funny that like it's 17 years and you've never remembered an anniversary that you spent the vacation money on a golf trip. Like we make those things funny. Like, oh, it's a man, he can't remember to do these things.
You know,
they don't carry that over to where we feel like. So that's why it's like when we show up and be like, we can't expect that because it's a man. And TV has shown us that men can't be responsible, can't be romantic, can't be this. So we can't be accountable. We can't hold him accountable because he's a sitcom husband. And then we do that in our lives. And men do because you know, I'm doing what I'm about to do. You can. You're choosing not to.
Yeah.
You don't want to take the time to learn. And it was a really weird thing because I never thought about it. Because you know, you watch those shows and laugh. I love Everybody Loves Raymond. That show cracked me up. I used to watch it all the time. All those shows. King of the Hill. Yes, you watch all those things, but then you think about it. Do you realize what they're actually saying about marriage? They are always telling us that a woman has to come in and hold the marriage together. She has to be the responsible one. Everything will fall apart if she doesn't. And then, so men are watching this, boys are watching it. Like when I'm a husband, I just need to be a good kid. That's all I got to do. If I go to work,
and that's why they say that men are immature.
If I go to work, because we're telling them it's okay to be, because you don't hear the laugh track, it's cool to be this, you know, it's a laugh track. Everybody clapping at things, right? And we're telling them, and we're telling little girls who are watching this, you're gonna have to hold it together if you want a husband. You're gonna have to be the one in charge. You're gonna let him think he's in charge. You're gonna let him go to work, but it really has to be you. And I watched 3 episodes and I was exhausted. Like, well, this is not actually funny. This is literally what all of these shows, even shows that we think are good sitcom families, like think about the dynamic between Claire and Cliff. It was still always you gotta do these things, you gotta do your health, I gotta be on top of you, take care of your health, like all of those kind of things. It was still always put there in these comedies, and I'm like, we've been told for years we cannot expect men to have the same level of maturity, responsibility, and accountability.
Except for that one episode where she checked Elvin.
Elvin, yes. But here's my thing. Think about all the time after that. Elvin was still Elvin, and after that, he still was the same thing. And we just had a laugh track over it. But my thing is, if you think about it, that shit wasn't funny how Elvin really was. And the things that, if there wasn't a laugh track and it was a drama, we would have thought of him as a villain. If he said the things that he said in a different show with the same character, we'd have been like, that guy was an asshole. But because it's a laugh track, we'd be like, Alvin, he's so funny, somebody's gonna check him, and someone is still going to be with him, marry him, have kids with him, and still deal with this attitude that he has about this on a daily basis. Instead of saying, this person is unmarriable, you don't marry a person that is like this, you don't get up, like that never happened.
But the laugh track makes him tolerable.
Yes, the laugh track makes
because there was no laugh track, he'd be like, this is a guy I would never forget.
Yes, because if he doesn't have the laugh track,
he's an asshole.
Any of the stuff that's what I'm saying, any of the stuff that happens in those sitcoms that we think are so funny, you know, the one where Raymond takes off his ring and he loses it because he was trying to hide from the girl and then he has to do all the things, and it's funny.
Yeah,
but yes, but is it funny if there wasn't a laugh track? If it wasn't a laugh track and they had a scene where the man took off the ring and then he did funny, people were like, oh, that's terrible. Look at how he treated her. But it's funny. So now we think, this is funny, this is just what men do, it's what we need to expect, it's not a big thing, men are immature. And I'm like, I don't think everybody realizes that we're taking that and we put that on, we apply it to our personal lives, and while some men think this lets me off easily, what ends up happening is then they are resentful for being treated like children who can't be trusted on their own, who need to be checked, who need to be monitored. But but that's what we're taught, and that's what you're taught, because it's easy to say, well, you know, I'm a man, so this is what I'm gonna do. But also, if that's who you are, then you do need my constant monitoring. You do need supervision.
And that's exhausting.
You do need, and that's exhausting.
Yeah, and that's why I say, like,
And that's why women keep trying to get divorced.
Adrian, Greg,
Everybody has all that.
Mongo, Bobby, myself, Curtis, we have talked about this many times about how we don't want women, our counterparts, to be slaves. Before, we are all dynamic men who live on our own. When we lived on our own, we cooked, we washed dishes, we did the laundry. Why is it when a woman is inserted into the equation, we push all that responsibility on her? When we was doing this, we force you to do that. So it's times where I told people, with my ex, if I beat my ex home, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was taking care of, making sure the children did their homework and things like that. It shouldn't be any shared responsibility, because I think one of the most selfish acts a man can do is come home and you beat your girl home 2 hours and you're sitting there for 2 hours, and when she comes in the door, hey, what's dinner? I think that's the most selfish thing for a man to do.
I agree, but I also think that women, not just from the measure with, society gives you so much pressure to, you better do that. Like, you, even if
It's
you
your
don't,
responsibility
it's your
to feed your
responsibility.
man.
So you get told, so you have this dual pressure now, especially now, because you have a lot of men who are on the, she comes to the table, she need to be doing what I'm doing.
Oh,
And
is she
she
good? Is
is
she
she cooking, is she
clean?
clean, is she working too? But then in the house, you cannot want the modern representation of this woman, but you want her to go out and earn and do all stuff too. And then when she comes home, you want a traditional household.
Yeah,
They don't match. It can't be, I have to do just as much work outside of the house as you, and then 100% or 80% or 75% of work. If you want a 50-50 woman outside, then we're gonna be 50-50 inside. But if we're gonna be like, you gotta, because it's not fair for anyone. It would be not fair for you to go to work all day and then come home and have to do everything while I'm just sitting here. Because why are you the only, you just work in a relationship? Now, if you both come to an arrangement where I'm gonna be out working and you're gonna be out, because people make the mistake of thinking, and I can say I made the mistake until I was a housewife, thinking that this was the easy job. And then about 6-7 months in, I was like, somebody tell me out. Like, this job don't have no off time. There's no break. There's no clock out. It is from morning till night. That is all day. That's not an easy job. And I think I saw something interesting on the show. Someone was like, people make the mistake of thinking, if you're a housewife, your man went to work to give you the opportunity to stay at home and take care of things. And they said, no, absolutely not. You were staying home to take care of everything here, to give your man the opportunity to focus on his career. You know what I mean? He needs the space to now, I don't gotta worry about nothing in here. This is also work, because if you didn't have me and you were hiring an accountant, a babysitter, a nanny, an aftercare driver, a housekeeper, that would, you pay those people without thinking about it. But if it's your partner, you should do it out of love. Do it out of love. But this is work.
No,
These are people's
job.
You hire cooks and stuff. You want all of this. This is a job, an unpaid job that you are asking someone to take on every day. So that you have the luxury of working without that thing. That is a benefit to both parties, not just to the woman who's staying home.
Because
and men who have staying home wives know that that's a blessing. Like, they know, they're like, now I don't have to worry about that. That's all taken care of. I can focus on my work. And this, and I don't have to think about, I don't think about laundry, I don't think about dinner, I don't think about anything. That's all taken care of me, because that's there. Like, they understand that. But if people who do not have that, look at it in a way as if someone's getting over. Nobody's getting over. That's 50-50.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that they believe that a woman is now taking on the responsibilities of the home, like she's getting paid for it because her husband goes to work. Daycare in 1 month for certain places costs $800 a month. 600 on the low end.
Yeah.
because of-
1,000 if it's an infant.
Yeah,
I have a lot of
Yeah,
kids.
it's
Yeah, I got a lot of kids.
Because I was just
So,
talking to my
yeah,
sister today about it, and she was saying $600, and my nephew was 10.
oh yes.
It's $600 or even aftercare.
Mhm.
Now, just imagine what a meal prep program would be for a family. Like, I prep meals for lunch, dinner, so he doesn't have to go out and actually pay for food throughout the day. So if I make his breakfast, his lunch, his snacks, his dinner, look at all the money that he saves. Then I have to clean up the house. I just fired a cleaning person because it was $100 and they cleaned for 3 hours. I was like, that's ridiculous. But that's the thing. If you add up all the costs, $600, meal prep for 1 week, which is about $200 a week. Then you're looking at,
Besides the cost of food, yeah.
and then you're looking at cleanup, and that's already what, over $1,000. That's the same amount as your rent or your mortgage or
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Or so that then he's not going out, because if I wasn't doing it, then
Either he has
would
to
be
do
paying
it
for
or
it.
to pay somebody. Either
Exactly.
he's gonna pay in
it's
time
gonna
or
be
money.
extremely exhausting.
Right? You're gonna pay in time or money to get the things
Yeah.
done. If you have a partner and you're deciding what I'm doing in my career is important, or the rest of my, whatever it is, so I want this stuff taken care of. Nobody's getting over on anything.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a mindset that I hate to say it, I think comes from, I'm just gonna be bad because I know people gonna say,
Shelby's gonna be an
I think
asshole.
it comes from a lot of single mom households.
Mhm.
They raise their sons telling them, don't let the woman take advantage, don't let these women come in and try to get anything from you, even though they be mad that their baby father wasn't giving them whatever it was, and telling their daughters they can't count on a man, and you need to make sure that you don't, you always can take care of yourself and know, and then you send these children out into the world who have a natural distrust towards each other. We come into these relationships like, now my mama told me to watch out for this, and I saw how these dudes did my mother, or, and now everybody's coming to it with their parents' baggage on how you should view a relationship where everybody's coming in, so I don't want to be taken advantage of. Will you give it? I need to know that it's exactly what I'm giving, and in the same way. Like, this is 50-50 of me taking care of everything else while you're working is 50-50.
Yeah.
That is 50-50.
Yeah, and women need to stop being so contradictory, because they'll sit back and say, I don't want a mama's boy, but then you're a mother to a son and you intervene in his relationship.
Absolutely. That is
Because
absolutely.
your-
They create.
Your son is not your boyfriend, like
I
Adrian
see
Carter said.
a lot of women. I see a lot of women create that baby daddy right back in their son. Create the same man that they had right back in there. I have seen it in life. You turning into you telling him what not to do, and like having him on the lookout for all these women, and so he has a mindset of a woman's gonna try to take this from you. She's coming. It might be this, like you. You can let him figure out the dynamics of how his relationship should go on his own, than have him thinking that everybody's out to get something.
Everybody's out to get
Just because you couldn't get nothing from his father, now you worried about who gonna get something from your son. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want your son to be taking advantage of you, like you couldn't take advantage of.
Yeah, and even if you did, like, it's a lot of, I couldn't get nothing from him, and I'm seeing it, and then I listen to the things that they say to their son, and I be like, so you want him to be his dad?
Yeah.
You want him to be, you fighting over here for this child support and telling him, watch these girls, because they just trying to, what? What they trying to do? Because what you were trying to do, wasn't you just trying to get the cute old? So why you so, like, it's very strange to me.
Yeah.
Very contradicting.
It's very
It is.
contradicting, and then, so when they come from these households of this, and then they tell their daughters again, a lot of, you gotta have your own, don't let no man take care of you, and you can't trust no man to do the things that he's gonna say he'll do, and then those people come together, and everybody has this huge distrust, and not sure how to, so, how to navigate a relationship while also being on guard. Because
Exactly.
mom told me
Yeah.
that this is what's about to happen to me.
Yeah.
And I think that creates a
It
big
does.
problem.
And I had to, as a man,
Solution.
had to realize that my mother was doing that. And one point in my life, she was. And I remember I caught it at an early stage of my life,
Mhm.
in like my mid-20s.
Mhm.
And a lot of women used to say, hey, how many women met your mom?
Mhm.
I was like, if they met my mom, they met indirectly, like she would pop up at my house,
Mhm.
and she just happened to be there.
Mhm.
And that's how she met my mom.
Mhm.
Because you have certain mothers that have it where they feel like no woman is good for their child unless they pick that woman handcrafted. And I'm like, no.
I think that a lot of
That's
women are
crazy.
afraid, especially if they don't have a good
Because
relationship
men have that
with
same
fathers
mentality.
still, that are really in a place of, I don't want to be replaced here as the most
Exactly.
important woman in
Yeah.
my son's life. And I see that a lot.
Yeah.
This person, especially when they see the person start to get close.
Mhm.
And I remember there was a viral clip going on a little while ago from one of the people on one of the Love and Hip Hop shows, where the mother was like, I feel like she's coming in on my territory.
Yeah.
The son had to be like, but this isn't your territory.
Exactly.
It was
Like,
Ace Hood.
yes. And I was like,
And his mama.
yes, that's who it was. Yes.
Good?
Yes, that's who it was.
And he got married.
And he was like, he had to tell
Oh,
his
it's
mother.
before he got married.
No,
It was after he
After he got
got married.
married,
His mother was like,
his mother was very difficult, and he stopped paying all the bills
he
for
stopped
her.
paying all the bills for him. He was like, I have an entire
Yeah.
household
Oh, yeah.
that I have to take care of.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's coming in and taking my place. And I'm like, that's not your
Yeah,
place,
yeah,
lady.
yeah.
That's your
She
son.
was toxic.
But I
What
love
you're
Ace
supposed
Hood,
to do,
though. I think it's
what
good.
you're supposed to do is raise him up to be not your husband, but a good husband.
Yeah.
Not trying to send him out there on some, don't let these hoes get you.
Yeah.
Kind of shit.
And
Like,
you know what's the
What are
crazy
you
part? The crazy
doing?
part is that the women, including my mother, the women that say that, they don't have stable relationships.
I know. That's
You have the
usually,
best advice, but you're
that's-
not.
but it
walking
don't
by
be the best
example.
advice. And that usually be the person, that's usually the mother who's giving that got their own relationship turmoil.
Yeah.
And then they're very much like you making your son into the same person
Yeah.
that you have the turmoil with. You giving him the same issues that you
So what you're actually doing is telling your son to avoid women like you.
And that's why.
that want something, because the mothers can tell what girl is about to come in and be wife material.
Yeah.
She about to come in and be that.
And
all right,
she
this
gonna
is what
tell you
I'm
not
about
to
do
be with
with
that
her
girl.
team. And she gonna be like, no, don't let
Yeah.
her come in. And she
Yeah.
gonna try to
Unconsciously,
protect
she's
her,
going to protect her place.
protect her place in there. And that
So
is
whoever she
usually-
say no to, say yes.
that might be the one. Now, she might see, she might be the one that can oust me.
Yeah.
She be
Like,
like,
I
see
like
her.
her. I'm like,
No, I always have a heart-to-heart talk with my mother, very stern with my mother when it comes to, we have the best relationship with her. But when it comes to relationship, I tell my mom, I said, look, mom, you wanted me to have children, and you wanted me to be married, you should have been a better example. And I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. And
she did the best she can.
And I
Leave
said-
your mama alone.
I said, look, I'm at the grown part where I can have these conversations and she respects it. You know what
Are
I'm
you
saying?
the only child?
No. I
But
have two younger
sometimes-
sisters.
Sometimes parents act like they're giving you a chance to do something they haven't done, and then wonder why you not doing it.
I'm the only boy.
Ah.
See, and that's the thing, like mothers, they have this thing where with boys, they have to have
You know
that
what's
grip on
weird?
boys.
The relationship wise, I may have a little bit of that with my kids. I probably baby my boys, but not now that my son is dating and
Mhm.
stuff. Not with girlfriend stuff. I didn't. I only had one thing, and that wasn't even like a, because I like his girlfriend. She's very sweet. We get along. I never did that, or we did none of that. But he recently had like her father wanted to sit down and talk to him,
Mhm.
and I was like, you need to do that. If the father want to talk to you, whatever.
They
But
for a while.
I'm thinking, no, go ahead and talk to him. And I know how that feelings are. So he talked to it, and the guy, I was like, that's fine. But he was like, you see my daughter, she's the most important thing in my life. And then he went and said, this, and I don't want to have to come. I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing.
Yeah.
she's very important to you, that's cool. But you ain't gonna talk to my son
Yeah,
right away either.
yeah. Because that's another thing that we
That's
have
what
to
you're
be,
not gonna do,
what
right?
we have to be subconscious about, because what you're
Don't
doing.
threaten my son.
Yes.
No, it's not
For
even
any
only,
reason.
it's not even only that, right? It's even like, the dynamic relationship that I have with my ex's son, child's father, right? As a stepfather and him being a biological father, we had a great relationship because I came to him as a man one-on-one. And it's very important that we did that, because what happens is, as your son and me being a step parent, what children like to do is play sides. We nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
So by the same way that is that dynamic in the relationship in the household, it's the same thing that he's doing with the daughter. But now he's saying that to your son in front of the daughter. And you know what? She's gonna be like, look, I gotta be back. So whatever I do, you can take my side.
Yeah.
And now you're pivoting her to be unruly, uncontrollable. Yeah. And then that's.
Yeah, and I saw it, and I was like, I know you want to do your the dad thing, but this ain't good. This ain't that. I was like, hey, because they were on FaceTime and talking. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
how you doing? I hear what you're saying. That's your daughter, but this is my son.
Yeah. I did that to
His
my.
daddy over there. You want his grandparents to come on the FaceTime. We could all meet and have the whose child is whose
And who's trying to
conversation.
I did.
Yeah, that's not something we're
It
going
was so
to
crazy
do.
because I learned that because I was the same way with my little sister. And I was very protective of my little sister. And I used to tell boys that, and come to find out, my sister is like my mother. They are very vicious to me. But they have this like sweet side to them. But when
No,
they in a
because they know they got
relationship-
somebody who's gonna come in and do what they gotta
But
do.
see, I know from the inside out, I know the type of women in my family. So I know how vicious they tongue up. So
Yes,
I
people
can't,
could be, yes.
I even had my sister's ex-husband come to me and cry to me one day because he didn't want to get in any physical altercation with my sister, and he loved my sister. And he came to me and cried because when I see him cry, I was like,
What she done did to him?
I knew how
Yeah,
hard my
I'm sorry,
sister.
y'all can't.
I know how hard my
y'all can't
sister
always-
was with him.
No, y'all can't. Here's the thing.
That's
right? So
crazy.
I have my dad. I think it just naturally seems forward. So people, he's not the person that's something that he was staring at.
Yeah.
My mother probably is, but my father's.
You won't say a word.
He won't. But he is. People naturally thinking he's very protective of his daughters in a way. I'm not going to say anything to ignore.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need
That's
to
the-
do the,
yeah, that's
like,
the best
y'all business is
Yeah.
y'all business, but it's a line
Yeah,
that you can't cross. And I do think that's important for people to know that, like,
Yeah.
I can play with over so much.
exactly.
It's-
It is.
Yeah.
Like that,
Because
right?
of that right
You-
there.
you wanna-
And I don't, I shit's fine if I'm gonna
Yeah.
have that, but like, you don't try to meet my son.
Don't be trying to
Yeah.
scare my son into
Yes.
treating your daughter
As
good.
if,
No,
like,
Because if she
yeah.
rude as hell,
You're
and she
trying-
needs to be told and checked, I'm not gonna let her disrespect me in this relationship just because my dad is there.
yeah, that's.
But the thing is, you also can turn away a good son-in-law because he's so intimidated by you, thinking that he don't want to mess nothing up because now it's going to cause a rift
Right.
between not only that,
Because we
between
don't
your
teach people
parents.
how to responsibly
You know what
react to conflict.
Yeah.
We scare them into responding the way that we think would be fit. Because if my daughter is disrespectful, because I'm here, you just gotta grit it and take it. Because what if she comes back to you and tells you that I cursed her out? But she learned all that
What
shit.
I'm not gonna do is have my son feel like he's scared of somebody
Yeah.
else's daddy. So that was it for me. I was like, hey, all this other whatever, but you ain't intimidating nobody
Yeah.
over here. Not around here. So I'm like,
That's how I felt when they had the little viral prom pictures where the guy was over
I
there.
always think that's
Always
stupid
like-
because I always feel like that's when we had that question we were talking last week, and I'm like, are you the person? I feel like when men do that, they think like, oh, because I know what boys are like, you know what you look like,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know what you
No,
look
you
like.
will help.
Yes, so you assume that
So you're trying to scare him not
Protect
into
your
not
own
flowering your
protect
daughter.
your own what you look like, and you see that in
But
everybody
that's
else.
not
So then you should be thinking about, let me see who I am right now. That makes me think.
Reevaluate
As a
that
girl
person.
coming outside, I'm thinking that. Now, I think that's extra and over the top.
Unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. And my thing is, that's
I wouldn't have gone out with her no more.
That's cool for your picture.
Yeah.
I like what you do, and you ain't gonna pull out no gun on my side. Like, that's all. Like,
I
hey,
think
because
some-
I'm not at the door with a gun for my daughters, but I'm gonna talk to whoever it is, and we're gonna have a conversation. You must have seen my face.
Exactly.
And I feel like once you have met us all, and there's a lot of us, you already feel like, I ain't about to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Because it's 20 versus 5.
Right, you ain't about to do that over here, so
It's-
never mind.
it's
But we gotta do the,
Yes, generational toxicity that we have to get rid of.
to stop passing off. And I
Yeah.
think that's the beginning
Yeah.
of the change in how people are relating now is what they saw at home, what they learned at home, what preconceived notion people go out into the dating pool with.
Yeah.
And I feel like people go out with a lot of everyone family back, family and friend back. Whatever you see, everything else and everything everybody else is showing you, that you go out with certain guards up, certain expectations, certain like, this happens, I know that this because my mom told me, because my auntie told me, and I saw what happened to my grandma, and that guy just wanted to catch up on his life, saying nothing like this, like,
Yeah.
but he also has his own notions, and I think that's what I feel, I think it comes from family, a lot. I didn't even realize it was this late, but we finally got everything set up, so our next show should be really cool. We got a lot of new things happening. Y'all go check out the new issue of Bossy Magazine on getbossymag.com. Our cover boss is Sammy Jean Phillip. Our Bossy Bachelor is Chris Clark. Please, everybody just keep putting eyes in my comments when I post it. I don't know what that means, y'all. DM me if you're interested. Don't just put eyes on this picture. All I do is just put the eyes. I'm like, I don't know what the eyes mean. I'm putting the eyes back.
We
If
see
you
him
like
too.
it,
That's why we
That's
showed
why we
him
put
to
it in the
you.
magazine. Go ahead and DM him. He's interested. I don't want him to do it, but he's
What
interested.
is like Playboy section or something?
To be
No,
honest.
Um,
You know what? We might need a Playboy section.
No, we
No,
not.
but Adrian said no. See, I'm trying to give y'all a little bit of fun, but she in charge. I don't know.
But I ain't about to have you DM about what his eggplant look like.
So yes, we've had one before, we've added it back. There's a Bossy Bachelor in each magazine. We're gonna tell you a little about a single guy, very good looking, do whatever he's doing in his career, his hobbies. Because we like to make love matches. We love love. I love love. We love that. So y'all have a great week. We will see you back here next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. We're gonna try to be there. We're gonna be on time. We're gonna go CP, I swear.
We got
We're
it.
gonna
We
be
got it all
here.
locked. We
We
got
got
it
it
all
all
locked.
locked now, y'all. Bye.
We gotta just get this up.
It was spoken the whole time?
No, we gotta do this up.
From over there, I wasn't getting over Cindy. That's why I had to put it on. Are you sure you want to go out of here?